Hey, what's up, travelers? Welcome into this little video of ours. Thanks for tuning in. Today we will be discussing Venus in drum roll sounds Scorpio. So it's the infamous, the mysterious, the dark, the obscure, sometimes creepy, sometimes stalky, sometimes possessive and obsessive sign of Scorpio. Now, my own Mars is in Leo. My own Venus is in Aquarius. If you know anything about aspects, it's that these are the fixed signs. Well, some of them, there's some of these are some of the fixed signs, and they are square to Venus and Scorpio. So my way of approaching the energy might not be in the most fluid like manner, because it's like the energy I'm pushing is fire, and the energy that attracts me, that gives me hints, so to speak. If Venus in I'm thinking about that right now. Maybe Venus in a men's chart. I don't want to trouble myself too much with if you're homosexual, if you don't identify with that. I'm gonna say if Venus in a heterosexual man's chart can be how he picks up hints from women. As much as it's what interests him, I think it's how he also picks up hints from women. So my own Venus is in Aquarius. So the hints and the realm of attraction and magnetism, which I am a part of, even though my main tool is electric instead of magnetic, or just my general aura, so to speak. The way I formed my body was in that way. So in my aura, it comes to play in that way. Oh God, am I getting into? I'm getting into like philosophical debates, like with through the ethers right now. What was I gonna say? So yeah, the general realm of attraction and magnetism for me is more so the Aquarian side. So the way that I pick up hints from Scorpio is I really have trouble doing so. Even though I've had a Venus and Scorpio crush before and she was into me too, it just felt like the way she was playing out her Venus, my own electric, my own fire, the energy that I was giving, I didn't feel like she was receiving it necessarily in the way that I was intending it to. But it's just because the way water receives energy from fire isn't the same as if I was to interact with a lady who's got Venus in an air sign, for example, right? So the way that I'm going to be approaching or trying to talk about Venus and Scorpio is really going to be from another realm, which could be interesting to some people. Like if anyway, I'm going on a tangent again. Let's drink a bit of kombucha. So she is a fixed sign, so she is going to be kind of set in a certain mindset. Now, this isn't to say that she can't change her mind. And I feel like Scorpio could almost be the one that changes their mind the most out of the fixed signs, simply because we live in a physical world where things are supposed to be seen, but they can see what's hidden in plain sight because they kind of have like this watery inner perception of how things relate, especially with Venus, the relational aspect, but just Scorpio energy, it fills a space with its seas, with its waters. So it fills the space with its waters and it gains an awareness of what's happening, and it stays fixed in a way that they have a certain value. They want to keep this purity. I think the Scorpio fixedness is the purity. So that's something you're going to find with Venus and Scorpio. Now, if you have a venereal disease and you're trying to get with a Venus and Scorpio, it might not work because their radar, so to speak, their magnetic radar is going to feel that something is wrong in your aura. They're going to feel that something... the energy isn't moving, or the space that you're filling in with your emotions, with your water. They're going to feel if you're truly genuine doing so, or you're really truthful, if you're really yourself. you know, all these fixed signs, they really speak of the self in a sense, because you got Leo, which is really the self that we present to others, how we make the inner. Holy shit! Look at all that exposure. I just noticed. You know, Leo is really the light that we're shining, and the ego that we're displaying. Aquarius, the opposite sign, is more so the, you know, your abstract thoughts and which how you play with the societal currents, especially these days. I feel moving into the age of Aquarius, you know, with the internet, information being available at a flash, you know, it's really it's like a part of our identity, but it's almost like our belief system. Not so much our belief system, but our own abstract way of perceiving information. Taurus is more so our values, what we value for ourselves, what we possess, what we concretize as far as like who we want to be, you know, and what we set as far as standards. Well, what's Scorpio as far as a fixed sign for the self? It's the stability of the emotional realm, of the subconscious, repressed realm. You know, it's not so much the subconscious as much as the 12th house or Pisces, but it's more so what is made unconscious by our own self, or what emerges out of the subconscious. You know, there's always this play with Scorpio of internal and external, excreting something and internalizing it, seeing how it fills your space, and then pushing what you don't need, the impurities, out. You know, so that the energy could move on, hopefully into an energy more like Sagittarius, which comes after in the cycle, which is more hopeful, is filled with optimism, wants to travel, wants to see what the world really is about, because they've been able to extract what was fake and what was real. Now they want to travel on a journey. But Scorpio is really this moment of darkness, so to speak. And darkness isn't necessarily bad, you know. There's like this quote that comes to mind, which is like, seeds, they grow in darkness, you know, and they only spring forth, you know, once they've been in darkness long enough to grow and to transform. So, you know, Scorpio, as far as a part of the cycle, I'm going to get into Venus more specifically, but Scorpio, as far as part of the cycle, it's really that moment where you're done with the bullshit of Libra. I'm saying the bullshit of Libra, but, you know, you're done with trying to make everything nice, and you're really, you've done the relationships between things, and now you're at a moment where you're internalizing something, and you're trying to get something out of it, you know. So that's the energy of Scorpio, if I want to make a quick resume or analysis of it as far as how I want to proceed with it right now. So you got Venus in Scorpio, someone whose relational realms and what pleases them is something that is going to bring about the energy of Scorpio, or more so, they're going to use the energy of Scorpio, and how this energy is brought about is going to be more so the house in which Venus in Scorpio is in. But Venus in Scorpio, as far as like the realm of energy that they're in, how they relate to people, what pleases them, how they, you know, it's really going to be linked to everything that we just talked about. You know, they will want to go deep with a partner. And deep, you know, there are many layers of depth to just the word deep. It could be just in a sexual sense. They want to be incarnated, you know, they want to feel alive. They want, you know, Scorpio, I think, has really, they like to feel alive. As much as it's the sign of death, they really like to feel all this energy rushing in them, you know. But at the same time, they feel like this energy is so intense that they contain it. So when the Venus comes in there, it's like there is really this, they could be obsessed by someone, and they could really be into someone. But if they feel like they're not secure enough and they don't want the person to see it, they'll keep that for themselves. Or perhaps even if she has Venus in Scorpio, she's gonna have like a deep interest for someone. And this is coming from my Mars in Leo perspective. But you're only gonna realize later, perhaps I was dumb, but you're only gonna realize later, because she keeps it hidden in her realms. And if you can reach her there in the hidden realm where things don't need to be in plain sight to be experienced and seen, especially internally, in such an intense way that you feel you have to exteriorize it, that's the Scorpio energy. If if you can meet her there in this intensity where you just get your own darkness out in front of her in a safe space that you guys agreed in to be in, if you just open yourself up like that, she's gonna be like, it's kind of gonna give her a pass for her to open up, at least up to the extent that she feels she can, depending on how much you opened up. It's like this healing process, it's like Venus wants to relate even through the darkest times in Scorpio. So if you're able to, even through your own monsters and even through your own darkness, open up to the Venus in Scorpio and be like, hey, I'm opening up like that because I trust you, because I think you can see who I really am, even though I feel like a monster, or, I see all this darkness all around, or I want to feel good with someone and create my own light realm, so to speak, so that we don't have to, it's like creating this little matrix. Water holds a space. So when it's in Scorpio, it's really creating that realm that's hidden and that's personal to both of you. Scorpio kind of being reminiscent of the 8th house. It's also being a part of somebody else's inner realm. So if you were to give a gift to a Venus in Scorpio, really give her the space to be herself and really go the extra mile, so to speak, in allowing her to unfold her own darkness, because a lot of time Venus and Scorpio, they're gonna live a lot of relationships and they're gonna relate to a lot of stuff that ends up being intense and transforms them. So if you can be finally that more calm and steady and secure, reassuring, open, transparent, and open-minded, I'm just using keywords from every fixed sign just as a way of saying that. But if you can really embody the fixed signs and be like, okay, well, I'm fixed in who I am and what I think and my values, and this is my darkness. Now the fixed signs are going to be unlocked, and the Venus in Scorpio is going to open up in many ways, but it's even if Venus in Scorpio opens up sexually, I think there are different levels of sexual openness with Scorpio. She might open up, but she might just treat you almost as if you were nothing in her. I like that slip. She might, there's a certain animalistic side with Scorpio. It's like she's gonna want to take a hold of you almost. It's a really masculine energy in a feminine sign. So it's like the feminine part of it is the hidden realm, the yin, the unconscious, subconscious knowing of things, but a masculine is the will that is played upon as you experience the energy of Scorpio. So the fact that this energy that they feel, this intensity, propels them to act. This is the masculine part of the energy. So, you might feel like the Venus in Scorpio, they're just like, and they want to, if really you open up and like they feel secure, or like, if there's a moment where there are no inhibitions, you might see the true nature of Venus in Scorpio, which is like deeper than what you might have thought at first, And that's it. This is also what I find funny about Venus and Scorpio. It's like sometimes like they look so innocent. Like my friend, like she looks so innocent in her profile picture. She's like, but like I know her. I'm like, I don't feel like she's fooling anyone. I feel like they just ooze sexuality. Well, she's got Sun, Moon, Venus, Jupiter, I think, all in Scorpio conjunct, like in her 4th or 5th. Anyway, but like sometimes they can seem innocent, but once you know them, you can see like this intensity in their eyes. You know, you can see this obsession, obsessiveness. You know, not necessarily this obsessiveness in the way that, you know, I don't want to use this easy keyword, but it's like, it's not an obsessiveness with something else. It's wanting to see the purity of things. That's the fixed attribute, you know, wanting to be pure. Anyway, Venus and Scorpio, mysterious. You know, sometimes they can have like a darker aesthetic. This is like typical, but you know that you're gonna know like if Venus and Scorpio like values you when like she shows you stuff that she doesn't show other people. Same Venus and Scorpio friend that I have in mind, she used to say like, I don't have any secrets. She's like, I don't have any secrets. I don't lie about stuff. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't really believe you. Like, everybody has at least one secret. And like years later, she sent me, anyway, she showed me stuff like that was like deep about her life that I know she doesn't show like other people. So I was like, oh, you just like opened up like that. Anyway, but it's like the way she related was like, hey, look at this darkness. It's almost like, can you believe I am as dark as that, you know? So it's Venus and Scorpio is all about like allowing the other to exteriorize their demons so that they can overcome them and so that they can grow into the strong Scorpio versions of themselves that everybody loves. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble. I'm playing with like a pair of like thing there, so I'm gonna call it a quit, even though I'm never quitting. I'm gonna call it the end, even though it never ends. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I hope my rambling wasn't too bad. Bye bye.